the suspense. How scary, how intense. Hello.
I feel like I'm about to go on stage to present a new technology or something.
Okay, so next up, but instead we're just going to have a very, very chill time. So usually I'd be sitting across digitally from Naya or from Laurent or someone else who's just as lovely as you. Uh, but my delight to get to bother you this week.
I mean, I cannot possibly live up to the joy of Naya and the incredible knowledge from Laurent, but like I'll try my best.
I thought that was going to be like a little cut to be like, oh, Naya's wonderful, nothing about Laurent.
No.
But what we're going to do today is just this morning you went over the project, the fourth
Yes,
free
4 out
code
of
camp,
5.
4 out of 5, fifth free code camp project. So we're almost done.
Yeah. It's the last week.
And I was thinking that we could just redo the same project. Oh, hello, people in the chat.
Hello.
I was thinking we could reuse the same project like we've been doing with these Couchbase sessions, but we could do this using real world technologies.
Amazing. Yep, I've got everything set up. We're going to be doing some pair programming, which I'm super excited about.
I'm super excited because I'm going to be doing the easy side of the pair programming, which is it the easy side?
I don't know. I think so. Like, I don't know if we've covered this much yet, but you're going to be doing the navigating, which is the sort of like telling me where to go, what to do. I'm going to be doing the driving. So arguably, I'd say both carry just as much weight in terms of difficulty and expense.
And you're very kind. So I actually haven't been around for the streams for the last week because I was out of town. And a big part of why I'm not driving is there's going to be a lot of like weird shuffling as we chat. And it's just me moving cats off the keyboard.
Oh.
So let's dive in. And this is going to be a very laid back stream.
Gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh, I think that I've got to pick these. So what we've got up is we've got the freeCodeCamp requirements. So this is the coding environment, the tutorial environment we've already worked in. Okay. And we're not going to build in here. We're going to build in a real world coding environment. And in this instant, we're going to use VSCode just because we've been using it a couple times. What are some other text editors people might use?
Oh, there's a whole well, there are quite a few. Some that come to mind are similar to VS Code, kind of like Sublime Text you might have heard of, Notepad++ if you're on Windows.
I see a lot of people in university courses still using it as well.
Oh, yeah. You've got your JetBrains in your enterprise environments.
All right.
If you're hanging out in the terminal, you might have heard of Emacs or Vim.
But for folks who are on our bootcamp and folks who are just learning now, obviously we trust you and we know you're great at stuff, but softly and lovingly, I might recommend saving Vim for maybe later.
Totally. And the thing is, you know, every editor has their advantages and their disadvantages, and you're going to find one that suits you better.
That is a very Ramon thing to say, isn't it?
Perhaps. Oh, £7.84 says, ever use Android editors? I think those would be like Eclipse and Android Studio.
Oh, yeah. I've used Eclipse once or twice, but I did not have a gentle experience. I think you've got to be much better at Java than I am to be happy using Eclipse.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't, I don't know. I don't know if my Java was good enough, but I definitely had a friction-laden experience.
A very gentle way to do it. You'd be like, well, you know, it wasn't as relaxing as it could have been. So let's do this in a relaxing way. Let's just start. And what I'm going to do while we work is I'm going to go to freeCodeCamp as well.
Amazing.
And I'm going to grab just a link to the requirements we're working on. Nothing stressful, nothing bad.
No, this is meant to be relaxing and fun. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to make my terminal just a touch larger so that everybody can read the text. Please, friends in the chat, if something is too small, please let me know and I'll make it larger. So,
I think we need to create a new folder.
Correct. So to do that, I'm going to type in the command make directory or mkdir.
And we're in our terminal. And if you haven't played with this yet, it's fine. It won't hurt you. And here, mkdir is really just shorthand terminal code speak for make a directory. Make me a folder.
Exactly. So now we've typed in the name of the command. What we're going to do next is give that directory or folder a name. So we need to make one that corresponds to our project. Cool if I go ahead and call it product. We can't have spaces in our folder
We
name. So
can't. We can have a little dash.
how about product landing page?
And this comes back to what we've talked about again and again, where we say a lot of times when we create file names, we create folder names as well. We
Yep.
really want to keep it human readable. Like if I'm a human, I'm probably a human. I know that when I see this on my computer, oh, this is our product landing page. I'll probably remember what we did. Yeah.
Exactly. Cool. So what we're going to do next is hit enter to enter that command. And it doesn't look like anything happened, but actually we already went ahead and created that product landing page folder. So now I'm going to change the location in my terminal to go to that folder, to open that folder, if you're thinking about this in a window way. So CD, change directory.
Change directory.
So now we're going to change the location of where we are to this new one, which is the name of the folder. So product land. Do you know what? I can hit tab to autocomplete that.
Oh, beautiful. And for folks who are exactly my age, you might think, oh, this feels a lot like DOS. And I'd be like, this does feel a lot like DOS. But for those of you who are blessed with youth, don't worry about it. It was what we did before sort of iOS and Windows and even the pretty Linux interfaces. Okay, so if we push enter now, it'll put us inside that folder.
Yeah.
And if we put ls to see what's in it, I bet we're going to see a whole bunch of nothing.
ls is going to list the contents of our directory, which exactly shows us nothing.
So I think we're going to need, I know we're definitely going to need an HTML file. We're definitely going to need a CSS file.
Yep.
We might need a JavaScript file tomorrow.
Don't think we'll need any JavaScript for this.
We're not going to need it to make the to set it up to talk to
maybe
a database. But the thing is, we can do this in two parts. So we can do today where we don't do this, and then tomorrow we'll say, oh, how do we get this to talk to our database, to put the email leads into our database?
Oh, cool. Yeah, that sounds amazing. So in that case, what we can do is open this folder as a project in VS Code.
Oh,
now, what's that?
Nothing. I think I remembered how to do that, but I'm gonna shh.
Oh, I'd love to answer this question from Virinci. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm so sorry if I'm not. Who's asking, can you explain that CD product landing page? Yeah, so this would be the equivalent of double-clicking on a folder to open it in, say, Finder or Windows Explorer or Nautilus, if you're on Linux. I think it's the name. Your window manager, essentially. I could be wrong.
So change directory. Can we go up into the parent folder for product landing page?
Absolutely.
Or do you have stuff? Are you okay showing what's in that folder? We don't have to.
Maybe not. Sorry. It's my work computer, so I've got a whole bunch of mess stuff in there.
Definitely not work computer.
Sorry about that.
No. I'm putting you on the spot live. I'm just being mean.
You're totally cool. So CD, now we're going to move up a directory. Now, of course, that can mean different things in different folders. So what we have here is the ability to say, go one level up with the name double dot.
Yeah. So CD here just means change directory. It's just moving up or down in a file system.
Exactly.
Super chill.
So if I hit enter now, I'm back in my coding folder.
Okay. So make a brand new folder. And when we say CD, the name of that folder, say, let's go inside that conceptual folder.
Exactly.
So scary and stressful, but it can't hurt us. It's just computers.
So CD product landing page. Hit enter on that. We're back in our product landing page folder. So that's the folder we're in now.
Cool. And there's nothing in it.
Absolutely nothing. So what we'll do next is open the current folder in VS Code. The way we can do that is using a similar shortcut. So the command to open something in VS Code is code.
Hush, really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, oh yeah. So now we need to give it the name of a folder to open in VS Code. The shorthand for the current folder we're in is 1 dot.
Okay, so 1 dot here, 2
Yep,
dots up.
up.
3 dots isn't down, is it?
I don't know.
It's not. I'm sorry. I'm just being
Probably. Oh, whew. Cool. So if I press enter now, VS Code is going to open on my computer. I'm going to make it larger in just a moment. Oh, hello there.
I'm so sorry.
You're fine. A welcome guest. So I'm going to go ahead and make this folder, this window larger in just a moment. So let's do that. It's going to look a little bit wonky now, but if I... Oh, did I? Oh, there we go. Phew. I was like, did I break it? So maybe that's a bit too large, huh? Maybe I'll ease it up just a touch. Why is that not zooming out?
Sorry for going quiet. One of the worst parts about multiple cats on the table is trying to keep them from unplugging everything.
No worries. Everything's chill. There we go.
I think that for the boot camp, we were going to raffle off a cat for the closing party.
That is... I gotta enter that. No. Virenci's asking if we type code ... then VS Code will open the coding folder, right? And that is absolutely correct. Yeah, it's a great question. Cool. So right now, we've got VS Code. We've got it open in our product landing page. And this is kind of treating it as a project in and of itself. And as just suggested, we need 2 files. So we're going to go ahead and create those right away, if that sounds fine.
Yeah.
So we'll have 2 files. One of them is index.html.
They're always index. That makes sense.
Yep. There we go. And the next one, let's create a new file, styles.css. So there's our 2 files, index.html and styles.css. What we want to do next is start coding our website.
And this is what I like about VS Code, because it's going to give us a couple of extra little, it'll auto-complete a bunch of stuff, won't it?
It might, yeah. Shall we give it a try?
If you give me a little curly, a little Pac-Man.
Wow.
Right? It knows that you want a doc type.
Shall I go ahead and take it?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that, because it's because it's a little bit smarter than our tutorial environment. B, because our tutorial environment's being really careful to make us do the reasoning. Here it says, hey, this is an HTML file. I'm just going to give you the doc type HTML.
Great.
Okay, so I think the next thing we need is an opening and closing HTML element. Look at that. Amazing. So it automatically closes your closable tags. Love it. I think we also need a head and a body for structure.
Cool.
And our body doesn't go inside our head, but do you know what? Inside our body, just for semantics, I think we need both a header and, I think we need a header, a main, and a footer. And would it be useful just to talk through these really fast to review what they're for?
Totally. Do you know what I might do in the meantime while you do that? I'm going to open them in the browser.
No, hush.
So check this out. In the terminal, I can type in open index.html, and that's going to open that HTML file in my browser.
With the default, it'll use the default
browser.
Oh, it'll use your default file for opening HTML, which will be your default browser. Now. What's your default browser?
It's Firefox, which is on my other screen. So
woo.
Excuse me.
I've got a Firefox shirt on under this, but I've spilled something on it, so we can just imagine it.
So here's our HTML file. Oh,
but it's blank.
Right. So let's talk about this. Oh, you know what? I'll hide this here.
Oh, I think I know why it's blank, but let's talk through it.
Sure.
So I've talked a lot about HTML elements as all being conceptual rectangles. And here, the only rectangles we have are semantic. So these carry meaning. It says, hey, we're starting to finish our HTML. We've got our head and we know stuff will go, but we don't have anything visible. So there's nothing in the main, there's nothing in the header, there's nothing
Right.
in the footer that would show on the page.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Exactly. We're just declaring these as like, hey, this kind of content exists, but there's no content in them.
Yeah, that makes so. Hey, this is it's sort of like setting. It's like drawing the outline for a seating plan,
Oh
but
yeah,
not putting any of the chairs in yet. Say, okay, well
I like that.
here's the space where all our tables and chairs will go, but we don't know how big they are. We don't know what chairs and tables will go in. We've just got, hey, there's going to be a header, there's going to be a main, and there's going to be a footer, and now we're sort of okay, and so we could
Exactly.
either do the responsible stuff in the head we know we're supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
or we've done that a whole bunch of times in the tutorials. We could skip those. It's really your decision.
Yeah, do you know, I couldn't for the life of me today remember how to do the responsible viewport stuff. So I might check this out. MDN viewport.
Oh, MDN viewport.
So there's a viewport meta tag on MDN explanation, and they have a copy pastable example here, which is, hold on, I need to make this just a touch larger. I'm not used to sharing the entire screen. Sorry.
Everything's
Yeah.
fine.
So I might copy this one so we can test our responsiveness. So there we go.
Hey, that's all chill.
Yeah. Also, if we want to use our CSS, we'll need to link it as well.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I was like, we don't have to do any of the responsible stuff, but you're like, well, we should set a good example, and we do these because stuff just won't work.
Exactly. What's a viewport, by the way? That is such a good question.
Ooh. So I'm going to put you up on the screen to stress you. So the viewport is kind of what it sounds like, but that's an unhelpful explanation. This is the space on your user's screen where your web page could be shown. And you might say, oh, it's the size of the screen. You say, no, no, no. That sounds right. But here, it's the size of the browser window on the screen. And sometimes they're the same. So if I'm looking at something on my phone, on a browser on my phone, the viewport's going to be pretty much the exact same size as the whole screen.
Exactly.
But here, if you grab the corner of that and resize the browser window, that's really resizing the viewport as well. So the viewport is where the total area that your user can see that a user can see your website in. Whew.
Great. Yeah, that's really well put.
You're unnecessarily kind. But let's start building. Oh gosh, do you know what? What are we gonna make a product landing page for?
Oh, great question. I made one this morning on washi tape.
Oh.
I wonder if there's a similar stationery thing we could do. My mind's on stationery.
No, my mind's on used books, so we might meet.
Let's go with used books. It's fantastic. Cool.
I was just in Montreal for business, and nobody told me before I left that they're famous for used bookstores. Do you know what? I've just recently learned that these are actual subscription services that exist. But what about a used book subscription service?
Cool.
So you tell us what kind of books you like and what you've already got, and then we just send you a new book a month, a new used book a month.
Great. Cool.
And this is actually an idea I've stole from a Montreal used bookshop called World The, which is a very clever name for a bookstore. And they said they were doing a lot of this during COVID, where folks would call and say, oh, I like genre. And then they'd just send a bunch of books.
Amazing. I love that. Cool. So we've got an idea. What do we do now?
So
Do we
let's
want to
take
look
a
at the...
look
Oh,
at.
sorry.
Oh, I'm doing the exact same thing at the exact same time. Don't never apologize for. So it should have a header with a corresponding ID of header. Yeah.
We can do that.
And our header needs to have a nav element. So we should go ahead and build out that header in a very laid back way.
Cool. Got a nav?
Yeah, I think we're unlikely to do the whole thing today, but
Yeah.
we can hustle a little bit. We'll hang out for
Oh,
45 minutes, hang out for an hour. Nothing bad's going to happen.
Totally.
And then our nav is generally, so nav carries quite a bit of semantic meaning.
Yeah.
I could try and explain it again, but I bet you'll explain it better. What's the point of a nav?
Sure. A nav is a yet another semantic HTML element. We've seen a couple of these already. We've seen header, nav, footer, main, article, and a couple of these that don't, while they don't have content, they carry a semantic meaning. This means that when we're looking at this website through, for example, the eyes of a search engine or a screen reader or reader mode on your browser.
Oh,
We're using these to tell these applications like, hey, this is how I want you to treat this type of data. It's kind of like a label maker label for a section of your website. Hey, this is a header. Hey, this is the nav bar. Hey, this is the main content. Hey, here's an article. Hey, here's the footer and stuff like this.
I'm just dropping an example in chat. So when we think about this, I like to sort of pick on one of the elements that doesn't carry a lot of semantic meaning, which was div. So when we think about semantic meaning is it carries meaning in its choice. So if I put a div on the page, all I know is that's a conceptual rectangle. But if I use an article instead of a div, it carries that additional meaning of like, oh, here's a conceptual rectangle. I know that what it's going to show me is an article. Or here's nav instead of div. And I know that this conceptual rectangle, this HTML element, is going to show me navigation.
I love that.
Yeah.
Great.
So I think that we're going to want, So this is, are we going to have a one-page page or a multi-page page is the hard thing.
I think in order to make the project pass, we are going to need one page with all of this stuff, but that's not stopping us from having other pages as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good point.
And the thing is, because we're doing this in the real world, like if you want to get your certificate, you do need to do it in the tutorial environment, but you already showed us this morning how to do it in the tutorial environment.
Exactly.
So we could do whatever. Because I'm thinking if we're talking about a used book subscription service, I think we should probably have one or two pages for different genres.
Ooh. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So I think do we want to put them in the nav now? Or do we want to make the new files in the terminal first? And that's a you question. This is a dealer's choice kind of deal.
I think since we're here, we can go ahead and get those links going, and then we can...
Please pick a genre of book.
Science fiction?
Science fiction.
And the other one would be...
Oh, do you know what? Can we do science fiction and science fiction, French science fiction?
Yes, of course. So, for our nav bar, usually carries a list, an unordered list, with a series of li elements.
But if those are going to be linking to other pages, those are also going to have an anchor.
Exactly. So the href is going to be a local address. And this local address is going to be let's call it SciFi
Yeah.
.html, and
Oh,
then
while you're doing this, I'll just so the question, so is nav used for navigating or redirecting to another page? I'd say navigating really. And the reason we're
yeah,
using nav here is if somebody's using assistive technology, they're listening to the page being read, and when they get the nav element, they go, "Oh, this is going to tell me what I can see on my page." So you could go to different sections within your existing page, or we can go to other pages.
exactly,
Usually part of the same website, but not necessarily.
exactly. So we'll have that. Notice, by the way, did you notice that I'm putting in this dot and a /?
I think I know what that's about, but what do you think that's about?
What's going on here? Remember how in the terminal we we're talking about dot and double dot? The same concept applies here. What we're telling is like, hey, open, like link to the SciFi HTML file that's in this folder.
The same folder. Okay, and we haven't talked a lot about it yet, but if you've deployed this, there are still folders. So you're
Yeah,
still in a directory even when your page is online, and it says, "Hey, go and look for this file. It's on the same level as the index. We haven't put it in another folder." Cool.
exactly.
Can
So,
can we also have FR sci-fi?
of course. So
And I'm
maybe later.
excited about this because we get to change our meta tag for the language.
Yeah, you're right. Ooh, amazing. So I'm gonna go
Um,
ahead and copy paste this line. So I'm gonna go
love
ahead
a
and
copy paste.
yeah. So we're gonna do an underscore, which I oops. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this keyboard.
Everything's fine. Oh, is it a fancy clicky keyboard?
It is a fancy clicky keyboard.
For folks just getting into programming, one of the biggest mistakes I see programmers do is get into very, very fancy, over-engineered keyboards. Ramon, you got into
I am very guilty of that.
and people just they're like, "Oh no, I have to have these different kinds of switches and these different kinds of keys." True happiness is just getting a glow in the dark keyboard and leaving it at that. Okay.
Totally.
Do we
So
need
we've
any
got
other genres or are we just saying sci-fi and sci-fi?
well, you know, if we're here, might as well also have an ES.
Okay, so we're very specifically a science fiction books in different languages.
I think this stopped being about genres and became about languages real fast.
Can we have a JP as well?
Of course.
And folks who can anybody guess what these different two letters are?
Oh yeah.
We've kind of cheated by saying, "Hey, can I have a French one?" And then the ES and JP. A
Nice, nice.
Spanish. Yeah. And then that JP is probably going to be Japanese, I bet. And these two-letter codes are the same ones that we're going to use on our pages when we declare what language the pages are going to be in.
Exactly.
And we'll probably just like make the English one and leave the other ones a little bit blank because I'm very, very shy about how bad my French is. Ramon cheats and speaks what
Yes.
four. I'm not being nice. I'm being mean. So Ramon just very casually. Oh wait, I speak German. Oh yeah, of course I speak Spanish. It's horrible, horrible. So okay, now that we have those, do we have to go and make these files? Because right now we're linking to files that don't exist yet. Oh, also,
Exactly.
I think
Yes.
if we save this and reload our page, I think this is going to show absolutely nothing.
Let's
Ooh.
find out. So I'm gonna
While
go
you're
ahead and
doing that, I have a question for myself, which is, what is the ISO code for Quebecois French?
ooh.
So ISO 3 and sorry for folks programming along with us, especially beginners. The stuff I'm worrying about right now, the stuff that's on my mind is very goofy. It's an edge case. It's me being an absolute weirdo. So these codes, ISO is the International Standards Organization. They're the how big is a cup? How long is a second? What are the codes for different languages? But they use different codes for different languages. Oh,
So
you're
we've
right and I'm wrong.
what's that?
I said, oh, it's going to be completely blank, but you made a really good point. Those list items exist, but there's no anchor text for our links. And that's in between the A and the A and the closing. We need to put some text there, or it's just cats doing crimes behind me.
No.
That's okay. They love crime. So we need to put something in those links to make them show. Okay.
Cool. So we need, yep.
Here, can we just say sci-fi? French sci-fi?
Okay. I was about to write it in French. Really? Okay.
Is that how
I'm about to embarrass myself because my French is okay. Science fiction? I have no idea. I'd love some help. This one I can do.
Science fiction en français is what Google Translate wants. And I'll go ahead and
again, sorry.
Oh, let me grab it and put it in the secret chat that we have.
Amazing.
And if folks watching are like, oh, they have a secret chat, what do they talk about? We mostly just talk about how much we like y'all.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
There we go. And
Japanese is going to be Nihongo no SF. Oh, wait. let me give
you. Sorry,
the...
my I don't have a Japanese layout here. Thank you.
Oh. Amazing. So now if we save that and reload it, we should see these links. But I think these links won't work.
It is ciencia ficción. Yeah, I think I got it. Yeah. So if we there we go.
Amazing. Do you know what I'm actually going to pick on something so I said, oh, let's do it like this. And I actually want to change it.
Yeah.
Because right now we're kind of falling into the trap of the default language being English.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe just say science fiction in English.
Oh, I see. You're absolutely right. So sci-fi in English, and I made the same mistake here. So we'll do that for Spanish as well.
Oh, give me the little wiggly.
There we go.
Okay, so cool. Okay, our product. So, and a lot of times when people make these product pages, what they're doing is saying, I've got an idea, but I don't know if enough people care about it. I'm going to collect some email address. Or I'm going to collect interest, or I'm going to collect little thumbs up. And enough people care about these. I'll launch my science fiction used book subscription service, but maybe I'll only launch in one language to start with, or 2 languages to start with. So I'll say, oh, do enough people care about this? And if so, do enough people care in which language?
So what should I write? I should create a form.
Oh,
or am I getting ahead of myself?
Hang on, we're getting ahead of ourselves. I think the first thing we should do is make these 4 pages so our links don't go off.
We have the links.
Either. Yeah, but if we click on them, boop boop.
Oh, we have an error. Let's zoom in a little bit. The file couldn't be accessed. It may have been moved, edited, or deleted. I see what you're saying now.
Yeah. So it hasn't been moved. It hasn't been edited. It hasn't been deleted. The 4th option, which our browser didn't think to present us with because it's such a silly option, is we linked to it but never invented it. So we could go back into our terminal and say new full of new, but we could also do it right here, I bet.
Yep. So on product landing page, I'm going to click on this icon here, which looks like a document with a plus icon. And that'll let me a new paper. Exactly. So we'll go ahead and create a new file, SciFi. Is that correct?
Yeah, it looks like it.
.html. but we're going to need a whole lot more. So I'm going to go ahead and create a bunch. We got SciFi underscore fr.html, SciFi underscore es.html.
Oh, can we actually launch this when we're done? Because if this does turn out to be like a viable business venture, I love my job, but I would joyously just send people random books all day.
Absolutely. So cool. We've created all of those. So those are now all saved. You can see we've opened these on VSCode. Let's try and click on one again now. Empty page.
Broken a different way.
Amazing.
So we didn't get an error. This all technically works. There's just no content on these pages yet.
Exactly.
I'm cool with that.
I'm significantly less stressed about that.
So actually, we do need to add one more thing. So
Yep.
our nav, so if we come all the way back to our index,
Yes.
we need the ID of nav bar in our nav element.
Ooh. And I'm going to bet
this
that's...
is to pass our tests, even though we don't always have to pass our tests. This is just to keep the vibe kind of similar. But then we also need all of our nav, boop, 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 all of our nav, boop, boop, boops. All of our links in here also need to have a class, not an ID, because the class is going to be the same thing. And the class needs to be navlink.
Navlink. Hey, Jess, you want to see a really cool VS Code trick?
Yes, yes.
If I hold down Command, if I'm on macOS, or Control on other operating systems, check out what I can do. So I've got my cursor here before the href. If I click in the next, okay, maybe it wasn't. It is Control, sorry. If I click on, no, come on, don't make me look silly. It is, I'm so sorry, it's Alt, it's not Command.
Okay. Looking silly is not going to hurt you.
So if I click on, if I hold down Alt and click on these other lines,
No, shut up.
I am adding cursors.
Yes.
So that I can now do it 4 times, type in class.
No,
Equals,
that's not. I'd be so mad if this was actually what was happening, because this would mean I've wasted lots and lots of time in my life.
I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but like now we've written navlink 4 times in one go.
Perfect, incomparable, beautiful.
So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Great.
So I think that, so it wants us to add a video, but do you know what we might do? Can we add the video tomorrow?
Of our video today?
I was going to say, can we just like riff a quick video?
Oh yeah, we can do that too.
I'm going to take,
actually, that's really fun.
Ready? I'm going to take this away. And take 1. Ramon, I really want to read some more science fiction books, but I don't have time to pick any out.
Well, Jess, do I have the thing just for you? Introducing the SciFi Usebook subscription service.
Okay, but I'm working on learning some different languages, so I'm not sure this is a good fit for me.
Absolutely. Well, we've got you covered as well. We've got sci-fi books in English, en français, en español, and...
Nihongo de.
Thank you. Nihongo de.
This sounds amazing. Where can I sign up to learn more?
Well, you just got to navigate your browser over to sci-fi usebook subscription service.com.
Amazing. I'll leave them my email address so they know I will want this.
Wonderful.
Cool. And we'll clip this out and link to it next time. Sorry to be weird.
No, you were great. I have never acted on the spot like that.
Oh, no. And so any of y'all, if you ever want to be like student teachers in the future, I'm just going to be mean to you and scary.
She is wonderful.
So what was the hack again? So this was if you've got multiple lines and you want to create cursors for each of them.
Yeah. What you can do is if you hold down the Alt key on your keyboard, or Option if you're on macOS, you can click while holding down Alt to add new cursors as you go. So you can have many cursors. They can be on the same line. See those blinky things that are showing up? I'm adding just so many cursors right now.
How do you get rid of them?
To get rid of them, you can go ahead and press escape on your keyboard.
Ah, okay, that's super chill. So tomorrow we'll clip this and link to the video. That's fine.
Amazing.
If somebody else buys the domain name before we get to it, you know what? I wish you every bit of business.
That's fair. They deserve it.
So what should we go ahead? Do you know what? When we come to this page, we've got these links. I
Yes,
think we should probably build out some text about what this is.
totally. Let's go ahead and go down, I would say, to our main section.
And I think we probably want a paragraph of text.
Cool. So I'm just going to type out some stuff.
I was going to say you can, or I'll type it in our secret chat where we gossip about how smart and cool the learners are.
That sounds good too. And in the while you do that, I'll go ahead and put in, because you know what I feel like we're missing? An H1, like a big header of our document that says like, get your used sci-fi books here. And let's make this, let's give it a subtitle with H2. In English, France. I can't do the C. Can I do a C? I can.
Oh yeah, you just hold down on the. Sorry.
Français. No, you're good. En español. Whoops.
Ooh, that's exciting.
I accidentally opened a new file. En español. And I need to find what's the de symbol? That character. Pardon.
Oh, it's he with a you know what.
I think I might need you to copy paste it to me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No
Do I
worries.
have Japanese layout on this computer?
It's
I do not.
Fine. You know, we could just leave it Nihongo for the moment. It's probably not going to hurt us.
Okay, cool. Actually, there. For consistency's sake. So if I save that, go back and thank you very much. So Jess has sent me some text for our paragraph. Picking out new books can be hard to fit into your busy life. Trust our expert team of nerds to pick out a brand new used science fiction book with a brand new book being sent to you every month. Love it. So that's saved now. I'm going to go back to our browser. Hasn't refreshed yet. That's because we actually have to go and manually refresh it. Look at that.
Everything's fine. So we've
Forgot
got an
my
H1 and
exclamation.
H2. That tracks.
There we go. There we go.
Okay.
Great.
So we've got about 10, 15 minutes. So if folks have any questions, I'm just taking a quick look at what else we might want to do. Do we want to go ahead and build out the form?
Sure. I was going to say also for short on time, we might also want to create a GitHub repository and put it there.
Let's do that. And then with the time we have left, let's build the form.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So Riz, if you missed it, the guest session with Rizal, Jess has very kindly put that in the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and build create a new GitHub repository using her immaculate, her incredible, her really, really well explained instructions. So here I am on github.com. I'm logged in. I'm going to go ahead and click on this button up here, create a new repository. Hope the size is okay. I might bump that up once. Yeah.
Everything's fine.
The owner is going to be me. The repository name is going to be used sci-fi books. Notice I put dashes. It's going to be public so everybody can come in and add their takes. We're not going to use a git ignore. We are going to choose a license. Is it okay if I go with MIT, Jess?
Yeah,
We covered licenses with Rizella a little bit. Yeah.
I'm a big nude license. Do you know what?
Yeah.
I love chaos.
Please.
And I know it's not usually applied to code. CC0, CC0, CC0.
Creative Commons 0.
I love a CC0 license, and CC0 is the most YOLO license you can apply.
Amazing. So CC0 is kind of just like everybody can do whatever they want without
Y'all
that.
have a good day. Yeah. So CC0 is copyright free. Actually, let me.
Amazing.
While
Well,
you do that, I'm going to grab the CC0 explainer.
oh, thank you. I'm going to create this repository. So now this is created on my GitHub. Great. Now we're going to go back and follow Rizel's instructions from the Git session that Jess just posted. Oh, Aaron's here. Hi, Aaron. And Vidinchi said very appropriately, there's a space missing between Español and Nihongo. So we'll put that. Perfect. Now, let's do some Git. Now, back in the terminal, we need to, before we do any Git status, before we do any Git add, any push, any of that, we need to actually initialize our Git local Git repository. That's done with the Git init command.
I know that this is not, while you're doing that, we have somebody saying, hey, do you know about copyleft? Yeah, copyleft licenses. I'll drop a link to this into the, sorry, I'm such a licenses and access nerd.
I love it.
It's really, it's kind of what it sounds like, copyleft being the opposite of copyright. It's a much more shareable, let me find these, a series of licenses.
Lovely. So I've initialized my Git repository. You might have noticed, check it out, my terminal automatically detected, oh cool, we got some Git stuff going on here. And this main you see here is that main branch. Remember Rizel mentioned that a few weeks ago. So cool. We've initialized our Git repository. I'm going to grab the code for the URL. And I'm going to link this local repository to tell it to, hey, push it to GitHub, please, at this location. So this is Git Remote. So we're going to add a remote instance to our Git. Add it. Now we're going to give that remote a name, that remote destination a name. And the convention is origin.
So okay.
Yeah. So we're going to push that.
It's almost always going to be origin. It's always going to be origin.
Most of the time. If you're going to have multiple places you can push to, it can have different names. But like the original one is, or the one of origin is origin. So I'm going to paste that URL now, that location. And once I hit enter, nothing's going to happen. We're just telling it, hey, this exists. Cool. Now that this is done, I'm actually going to pull from my repository because I've got a license file in here. So if I go git pull origin, sorry.
Yeah, no, and I was just saying, as you're doing this, remember that push and pull sometimes feel a little bit reversed. So when you say git pull, you're taking your folder, is going into the Git repo and pulling out the stuff that's in there. And when you do a git push, you're taking the stuff that's in your local folders and you're pushing it into the Git repo. Cool.
Indeed. We need a branch as well. And I said the main when we create a new repository, it defaults to having main as the name of that branch. So we're going to pull from origin all of the commits from the main branch. So that's done. And check this out. Let's go back to GitHub real quick. To VSCode. Look at this. The license file is now there because we've pulled it down from the GitHub.
And the license, and this is good. I love all of the I'm not a lawyer you see in licenses where it's just like the first couple of lines are, and a lot of licenses will say, hey, if you're using this code or if you're using this text or if you're using this project, don't sue me. Like, don't get a lawyer in this. Like, I made it, but I didn't and that's a very good general rule. If you're using free, copyright free or free permissive materials, you probably want to pay the person who made it if you want some kind of legal guarantee attached to it.
Great. Perfect. So now we're going to take our code and push it up to GitHub.
Okay, so before we pulled the license out, and this time we're going to push it back up. Okay.
Exactly. So Git Status is going to show us, hey, here's some new files that we haven't that have been changed or created. So Git detected, hey, there's some new files here. Do you want to add them? Absolutely, I do. So you can add a file or a folder to be committed. And I'm going to add a folder with git add. And y'all might already know what the name of that folder is. The folder name is dot.
Okay, so this is just saying make a folder on this level.
It's saying add all of the contents to Git that are in this folder. All of the changes to files that were made in this folder. So once I hit enter, doesn't look very different, but if I type git status again, now we'll see it's green, and we can see here, this is the important part, changes to be committed.
Oh, this is telling us, hey, you've pushed this, but you haven't committed it.
Exactly. So, well, who am I to say no? Git commit.
Okay.
We're going to add to it.
Really, to get stuff into our GitHub repo, it's really a 2-step or 3-step.
Yes.
So we add it, we push it, and then we commit it. So we've got a couple different stages where Git's sort of giving us the opportunity to say, really? Really? So you add it, and Git says, okay, maybe you want this. And then you push it, and Git says, okay, I'm just going to wait until you really commit to this.
Exactly. So we will commit, and then we'll say like, hey, let me write a message to label this chunk of changes that I've made. So now in quote marks, I'm going to write what I have changed in this chunk of changes. So what has changed? Well, we have add index, SciFi, and hold on, index, SciFi pages.
Oh, I would have just said SciFi, as I'm very lazy.
SciFis and styles. Cool. So once I hit enter now, we're saying, cool, this is what you've done. Let's go and refresh GitHub.
I can't look. Oh.
So we did commit, but we're not seeing it on GitHub yet. That's because, sorry.
No.
That's because we did commit, but our changes are still here on my computer.
Yeah.
Now, I want to push those to GitHub. Before I do that, check this out. There's another Git command you can have called log, which is a history of each commit that we've made. And this is why we write these labels. This one was made automatically by GitHub when I created my repository. We can see it was done at 6:45 my time.
Oh, we need to log off in a minute so you can go for the next night.
All fine. So this next one we just made now. There's the message, index SciFis and styles at 18:52 p.m. So although I have, oh, by the way, I pressed Q to quit the log in case you're curious.
Okay.
In case you find yourself stuck there.
That is definitely the kind of thing I would be stuck in. We've got Learner who's just ready to go, who's just saying, Git push origin.
Let's do it.
Obviously in a much nicer way than I've just said that.
Git push origin. So we're going to push all of our changes to the origin remote, which is that GitHub one. There we go.
And none of this is red, so we think everything worked.
Everything looks good. If I go back to GitHub now and I refresh.
Say when.
You can look now.
That's really exciting. So we're able to go ahead and really keep all of our stuff nice and safe and chill as we're working. Because tomorrow, if I wanted to drive, I don't. I could go ahead and take this and work right from it.
Absolutely.
And this might actually be a really nice time. So we've just saved all our really in a perfect world. We would have wanted to be like pushing and committing as we go. But you know what? The world is not perfect.
Totally. Yep, we can pick this up tomorrow and add the rest of our pages.
Ooh. Does anybody have any questions? Learner makes a really good point saying, hey, do you know what? I think GitLog also has a since flag that's really similar to what changed from Rizel's stream. And I've already shared in the chat, Rizel's stream is right up there on the Bad Website Club. Where are you?
Great.
Who am I?
Thanks for the tip, Learner.
Let me find that. It's the Git session,
Perfect.
youtube.com. I'm not going to read that string, but you can dig that out of the comments if you need it. And I don't see any questions. If folks do have questions, they can come on and have a nice little chill time and hang out with us in the Discord.
Oh,
Hey.
I'd love to show what's coming up tomorrow.
Oh, what is coming up tomorrow?
So tomorrow we've got 3 sessions.
Oh no, that's too many sessions.
Remember, this is all self-paced. It's all chill. We're going to be doing CSS animation tomorrow by building a Ferris wheel.
I'm so bad at it. I love it. I'm so excited. We can learn together.
It's going to be wonderful. Then, to 2 hours after that's over, or 3 hours after that session, we're going to have on Phil Hawksworth from Netlify to introduce.
Just the calmest person ever.
I'm very excited. It's going to introduce us to Netlify. And then later that day, at the same time as today, Jess and I are going to be back to continue on this project.
And it looks like stuff is done on Friday, but actually next Monday. So these Couchbase partner sessions will keep going another 3 days. So all next week, we're going to be taking a look at different ways to approach your portfolio page, which obviously all of your projects are important. I will say that out of all the projects, I think the portfolio page is probably the most important one, because that's one where if you're trying to break into tech, it's one you're probably going to use all the time as you hunt for work.
Wonderful. Can't wait.
Amazing. Wonderful. I will let you go. Both of us will see you tomorrow. And I hope you all have the homework. Wait, no, you already gave them homework.
I know. They have no homework from me.
Your homework from me, even though this isn't one of the core class. If you showed up for one of the optional classes, your optional homework is to be as gentle as you can with yourself and experiment just a little bit if you have time.
Wonderful.
Amazing. I'll let all of y'all go. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.